Hello there, welcome. So I know a lot of you have been looking forward to the stream that we're doing today, which is about the BRRRR method, right? And the BRRRR stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Okay, so you buy the property, and the goal here is to buy a property low enough so you will have equity, so that when you fix up the property, you appreciate the value of the property, and then you can refinance and have possibly some money left over. And but you need to rent it first, so you have the income from the rent, so you can refinance and then you repeat, right? So that's how the process works. So the goal here is, first of all, you need to buy the property low enough so that you can create equity by fixing up the property for appreciation, right? So that's the number one. You need to refinance it without over leveraging, so that the rent is going to cover what is going to be your mortgage payment and expenses. Okay, and even possibly you should have that 75% of the rent is going to be enough to cover your PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Otherwise, as you build up your portfolio, the lender is going to penalize you because your rental income, 75% of the income, is not enough to cover your basis. So let me share with you a little bit of story here behind that. Kind of jumped into it right away to, get your interest going, get thinking on how the BRRRR method could apply. So when I started buying real estate, rental properties about 30 years ago, actually in 1991, I understood this concept. I'd been reading and studying about it, understood the concept that I wanted to buy properties where there was enough room there for appreciation, so that I could refinance, because I actually started buying as owner financing, lease options. I didn't buy with bank financing. I was not in a position to buy with bank financing because honestly I didn't have a job or much credit. So I wanted to buy with owner financing, and I wanted to refinance, but then also knew I needed to bring the rental income up to a certain point in order to use the rental income to pay the mortgages, to refinance, right? So it was kind of a catch-22 situation there. So with that said, I decided that I'm sorry, I was looking at something. I decided there that I had to basically stack this type of rental income. So what happened is, bought the property, owner financing, did some of the work, the appreciation that was there after repair value, and then I used the rental income to refinance the property and keep doing it. And I actually did several properties together, so I automatically stacked these. So within about 16 months, 18 months actually, I actually had 16 properties that I had been buying under this scenario. So let me give you here an example, and I actually wrote it down for you, but I wanted you to get some piece of paper here and write this down so I can give you a breakdown of how it actually works. So let's say that you come across a property that after repairs it would be worth $200,000. Okay. Now it needs quite a bit of work, so you're gonna get it $120,000, and now you're gonna put rehab cost in it, right? So let's say $25,000. Now you're into this property for $145,000. So now to buy and rehab, you can use hard money, you can use private lenders, you can use your own money, equity line, IRAs, self-directed IRAs, and so forth. There is a lot of ways, which next week, in this group, we're actually going to talk about how to find the money for your real estate deal. So, make sure you attend that next week as well. But so you're going to have the purchase price, you're going to have the rehab cost. Now now the property is worth $200,000. Okay, so now you go ahead and refinance the property. So they're going to give you 80% of the value after repair value, which will be $160,000, right? Now remember, you're into for $145,000, $160,000. There's a difference there of $15,000. Granted, maybe closing costs, financing costs will eat up most of that 15,000, but the goal here is to create a portfolio where it's nothing out of your pocket, right? So that's what you need to think about. So if you had put some money down into your 120,000, or you had put money out of for the rehab cost out of your pocket, the money is going to be returned to you because now you refinance it. So you're into it for no money. On top of it, you build $40,000 worth of equity. Okay. So I want to show you here. I drew this. Hopefully you can see that kind of the schematic of how that works. So your purchase price is 120, your rehab brings it to 145, you have ARV after repair value is 200,000, sorry, my fan here, and then from that you get 80% refinance will be 160,000. That means you have 40,000 worth of equity. And then now what we're going to look at is the rental income. So, you know, just as an example, let's say that you rent this property for $1,500 a month. Okay, you could rent it for more. This is just an example. Now you have to deduct from that your PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, your maintenance cost, and obviously there is your profit there, right? But the key here is that your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, has to be 75% or below of what your rental income is. So if your rental income is $1,500 a month, right? What is 75% of that? That's roughly 375 is 25%. So if you deduct 375 for 1,500, that's what? 1125, right? So what the lender is going to do, they're going to take 1125 of your rental income every month, and they say, okay, as long as your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, your PITI payment is below, 1125, you're good. Okay, and so let's say that your PITI will be $1,000 a month. So actually, you have $125 in green, because your rent is 75% is more than that. Then they're going to apply that 125 to your income, so it's going to make it even easier for you to apply for a second property. Because at the end of the day, they're going to take the rental income for your property to qualify for more loan. They're not going to take your personal income, right? Especially if you start accumulating a portfolio. You can't qualify for 20, 30 properties on your personal income. But that's why the BRRRR method is really, really powerful, because you buy this property at low enough value. You fix the property so you can increase the after repair value. You borrow on the after repair value, which in this example is 80%, right? 80%. And then you're going to keep your PITI below 75% of the total rental income. And now you're golden. Now you're in green. Now you can actually keep buying more properties. So again, let me share with you this breakdown here. And then down here, like I said, the example here. So if you're at PITI, you take off PITI, maintenance, and holding cost, that let's say that your income is $400 a month, and that's your income, right? And so that's why you keep doing it. Now, you have to have a little bit of a mind shift here, and don't be too worried about what if the interest rate is too high, or this is too much expense. Your goal is here, you're building a portfolio. You're going to keep buying property. You're going to cash flow every month on these properties. I like to cash flow at least $250, $300 per door, meaning single families $300, two families $500, $600, and so forth. So you're cash flowing. Your rents are paying for all the expenses. The rents are paying for the appreciation of the property. The rents are paying for all the mortgages. You are going to actually borrow against this property to buy even more properties in the future as the appreciation continues. So this is how to build a portfolio is, right? So you have to look at it different ways. No money out of your pocket when the rent pays for everything and also gives you money. So a lot of people get stuck on saying, oh, my interest rate is a little too high, or this and that. No, but what if you buy in this? I said, the profit is infinite because you're really not putting no money out. That's the way you're looking at it. Maybe you put some money out in the beginning to purchase a property, right? Down payment, maybe even if you use private money or hard money, they want you to have some skin in the game. But then the money is going to come back to you when you refinance. You keep rinse and repeat. I have students using this process, using maybe the line of equity on their house. They open a second mortgage for $60,000, $70,000 in one. Thinking of one case, he opened that and then he used that money and bought it in BRRRR method over and over again. You can use money, a self-directed IRA. I had somebody, she bought 21 houses in less than a year using self-directed IRA and then refinancing and get her money back out. So there are different ways you can get into this. And the BRRRR method is basically building your portfolio and reimbursing yourself for all the money so that the portfolio really pays for itself, plus you get the cash flow. So it's a win-win situation, right? So hopefully gives you some clarity, didn't bring too much confusion into the pot here. And then I do train about the BRRRR method. I do train about rentals. Actually, we also train about Airbnb and short-term rentals as well, which is a way to look at rentals a little different. We actually have a course that we just finished this month in April about about Airbnb. So if you're interested in that as well. So if you'd like to talk to us, see how we can support you and help you, go ahead. We have a link that we're going to post here, and you can schedule a call into this through this link and talk to us how you can be part of our community and learn exactly how I built my portfolio of even starting from nothing with no money, no credit. Now you say, of course, now I can buy anything. But in the beginning, how I started with no money, no credit, no nothing, and I built a portfolio of 16 multifamily units using exactly this method. So there is a link here that we posted, so make sure you go there and schedule your call so we can talk to you and see how we can help you. And also, if you do this within the next 24 hours, by tomorrow, Friday, 1 p.m., what I'm gonna do is actually sit down with you and give you a game plan and actually share with you exactly my 10-year game plan that I did, but also break it down for you to make achievable for you, depending on how aggressive you want to do in doing this, in building up your portfolio. So you can build a portfolio, so every month you could increase $300 to $500 to your passive cash flow, or you can increase about $3,000 to $5,000 in a year, depends on how aggressive you want to be, and or more. I had this particular lady, she increased her cash flow almost $10,000 in 11 months by buying 21 houses. So it's really tailored to what you want to do and how you want to do it. But what I share with you today in the breakdown, this is actually how you build and stack on top of each other. Okay, great. I had fun doing this. I hope to talk to you soon. And don't forget, next week we're going to talk about how to raise the money, or how I personally raise the money to do this and other things that I've done in the business. Take care.